looked focused. He was locked in while he snorted. Let me get to the page so I can scroll back up for y'all. They said he was locked in. Look at him. You can keep start that part over again, please.
Kano. Says the son of NBA GOAT, Michael Jordan looked focused as he sniffed the powder, while his glamorous bikini clad partners smiled and chatted
Damn.
alongside, and his pals ate lunch across the table. Marcus cracked a wide smile afterwards while chatting to his companions, all of whom seemed unaware of what he was doing.
Right. Hey, Kodash said, you know what? It looked like he know what he doing. Nike, just do it. Just do it. Right. Y'all know the slogan Nike, just do it. Don't think about the repercussions. Just do it.
Right.
This is Michael Jordan's son. This is the quote unquote GOAT of basketball. Like I said when I first started, everybody knows Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is a worldwide superstar. He Michael Jordan is on the level of Michael Jackson. They're worldwide known by people. You go somewhere in Asia, you can just say, "Oh yeah, I know Michael Jordan." As a black person, you can say, "I know Michael Jordan," and they look at you like a god. You go in East India, you can go in one of the Arab countries, and they worship Michael Jordan. And when I was growing up, they called Michael Jordan Black Jesus. That's what they called Michael Jordan. That's what they called him. But today, his son is snorting cocaine. That's what his lineage has become. Is there any more on that? Excuse me.
There's some more. It says Ashley, who bears a striking resemblance to Pippin, 50, Salakia, put on yeah, it's just pretty vulgar. It talks about like her appearance. Nothing more on
Well,
him though.
nothing more on him, right? Let me
Yeah.
let me get a precept real quick. Give me what did I want? Something about children. So about your heritage. Now, Michael Jordan, give me train up a child. I don't know if I won't train up a child. Hold on one second. Hmm. What's a good one? What's a good one? For now, give me train up a child. For now, I think something may come to my mind. I had something in my head earlier, but this is somebody. Michael Jordan is someone who people they worship in this world, and they look at as the quintessential example of success and of black excellence and of somebody making it and somebody coming from humble beginnings and becoming the greatest in the world. And this is what his son has become. This is what his son has become. He's snorting cocaine. If he was in the hood, it would be crack cocaine. But because he has some money and he has some affluence because of his father, he has created or he has started a very expensive habit. It's a very expensive habit. And it's a habit that is part of being on drugs universally. Being on drugs is about having something to help you cope with the world, to cope with your life, to cope with the memories, to cope with the experiences, to cope with your upbringing. And so this is supposed to be a heralded great athlete that everybody knows. And at one point in time, everybody, if not you, somebody in your family, have worn a pair of Air Jordans. Well, this is the son of Michael Jordan, and he's snorting cocaine like Pablo Escobar, like in the movies, like what's the one they love with Al Pacino? Scarface. And he's sitting there amongst white friends that look like they're having a ball, having a good time, and it's just normal. You see the picture with them, they're literally in a full-blown conversation, like it is just normal. You know how Black and Hispanic people sit around in a house with your kids, rolling blunts and smoking blunts, like it's just normal. Well, this is what they do in the rich world, in the world of affluence. Let me pull this up again. Look at, you see you see the snow bunnies? The snow bunnies is laughing and having a good time while he is stressed the hell out, trying to check out. He with the snow bunnies, he's with what they call the black man's trophy. And he's still trying to check out. Like, I gotta check out in broad daylight at lunch. What did it say they was at lunch?
Come on.
I bought yeah, they at lunch. You're supposed to be eating, probably having a drink, maybe having a drink for some people, but you're supposed to be eating right now. And this is what you're doing. You got that preset for me?
Come on. Like the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 6. Train him the way he should go, and when he will not depart from it.
See, with all the greatness that celebrities have, all the notoriety, all the respect, all of the honor that these celebrities have, what they don't have is the law, statutes, and commandments of God. They don't have the commandments of God to train up their children. Now, their children come into lives that are very rich, very affluent. They have everything at their disposal, and there is no spared expense, right? So, like, let me get this right. There is no spared expense when these children come into the world of affluence. They can get anything they want. They can eat what they want. They can go where they desire to go. But there's something missing in all of that, because the Lord ain't against you having, good things and doing nice things. The Lord ain't against that. But the Lord is against you forsaking him and you not teaching your children the commandments of God. Ignorance and not understanding what the commandments of God, what the Lord requires of you. Read it from the top again.
Come on. Book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 6. Train up a child the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
And you train up a child. So this child, Marcus Jordan, he grew up almost halfway without a father, because his father was always on the road, and his father was a superstar. His father was like a rock star. His father was the type of person that comes out, go somewhere, you got to put a disguise on, because it will garner a crowd. Everybody will surround him if he doesn't. And so his father is known throughout the planet Earth. Even today, I'm pretty sure you go to any African country, they would know. You go to some country with Mutaputu living in a mud hut, they have one time or another seen a shirt with Michael Jordan with his legs spread dunking a basketball. But this son, Marcus Jordan, even though his father was that great, he was not able to instill in him the morality, the values, the understanding of how the world works and how evil the world is and who the devil is. So Marcus grew up thinking, having a good time is getting a sniff, snorting some coke at lunchtime. And now he's caught on camera, and they're going to blow it up before the world. They're going to blow it up before the world, and the shame will fall on Michael Jordan. That shame will fall on him, and he will feel the heat from these pictures from his son being, the paparazzi snapping pictures of his son snorting coke. But what is money? What is affluence? What does that really mean to the Lord? It doesn't mean a goddamn thing. It doesn't mean anything. You understand? Doesn't mean nothing. Having influence and having money is a convenience, but it doesn't solidify you with the Most High. Christ didn't have a place to stay. You understand me? Jesus Christ did not have a place to lay his head. So money does not actually equate to the Lord being with you or you having a good life. Money doesn't equate to that. Was there anything else on that? You said it was a little too vulgar. Young man.
I'm sorry. It just started talking about like the appearance of the girls and what she had on. It started
okay. Okay. Let me get back to the picture. Let me select it. Where we at? And another thing I need to tap into. Michael Jordan did not teach his son not to mess with another man's woman. He did not instill in his son morality and honor and integrity. You can get those things from the Bible, though. You can get those things from the teaching of the law, statute, and commandments. You can get those things. You can put something into your child, into a brother that is 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old. You can instill into him, hey, you shouldn't sleep with your partner's ex-wife. You shouldn't sleep with your homeboy's ex-girlfriend. You shouldn't do that. There's more than enough women to go around that are single that you can go and talk to. He wasn't able to instill that because Michael Jordan was of the world. You understand? Michael Jordan he's a part of this world. I don't give a damn what anybody say. Listen, I got a pair of what number I got? I got the Concord 11s. I got the Cool Gray 11s. I got the what's those shoes? I got the cement. I got the Cool Grays 3s. I got 3 pair of Air Jordans. But Michael Jordan is not he's not my template for what a man should be.
Right.
Like I'm telling you, I'm saying this because everybody has had at least at one time had a pair of Air Jordans, and I'm saying this because we emulate and we think that this brother is so great, but look at his progeny. Look at how his son behaves. His son slept with his teammates' ex-wife. Now his son is being caught smoking dope. It must be hard being the son of Michael Jordan. Let me tell you something. It's not hard being the son of Thawal Gabar.
Right.
It's not hard being the son of Captain Marwa Cobb. It ain't hard being the son of Captain Tazariak. It's not hard being the son of Captain Gadalhar. It's not hard being the son of Captain Kwamaal. It's not hard being the son of Commander Junior Hanna. It's not hard. You understand? Because you're prepared for the world.
Right.
So where you won't go and smoke dope. To where you won't seek out white women. To where you won't love another people more than you love your other people. You love your own people. And you know what? He learned that from his father. We probably don't see that in the limelight and in the pictures and all of that, but he's following his father's example. He's following his father's example. How to not love your people and love another people. Now you are a cocaine addict. And see, they do cocaine and they do it so well that it is a part of their their get down. That's how they party. Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people, you at the party, you drinking and you smoking weed. Well, they introduce cocaine into that thing. They say, try this. And I'm not going to even say that it ain't just us, because I've encountered many brothers, young brothers, that are on the powder, that are snorting powder. And it's an expensive habit. You know what? I'm gonna tell you, one time I was at the gym playing basketball with brothers, right? And it was these two brothers, they was on my team. And these brothers was just zipping fast, boom, boom, back and forth. They were scoring all the points. Now I think I can score a few points, and if you pass me the rock. But these brothers, and for a minute I thought that they were young brothers. I said, these got to be like teenagers. Then I realized they were older brothers. And after we won about 3 games, I'm sitting there talking to them. And the one brother, a bag of cocaine comes out of his sock. This nigga grabbed it, opened it, and snorted it. And I said, good night. I've been playing basketball with some dope addicts. That's why they so fast. They faster than me. They jumping higher than me. They smarter than me. But they doing everything better than me. They were high out of their mind at the gym. And I was just like, Lord help them. Good night. What is going on? What is going on? But so I don't get our people off the hook. Another time I was working on a car, and a brother come up and have a conversation with me, my neighbor, and I never expected that, but as he's talking, a bag of cocaine falls out of his pants, and he picks it up, but he probably didn't see I saw it, so he didn't think I saw it, but I saw it. But this is the thing. A lot of our people are on that too. It ain't just crack cocaine. It's cocaine. It's the expensive stuff. And you're trying to keep up a habit. And it's an expensive habit. Very expensive. But all drugs are a coping mechanism. All drugs are there to make you check out for a minute. You know, you just check out for a minute. You don't have to deal with the reality. Y'all remember that it was a special a long time ago, a Cat Williams special where he talked about he was joking. You get high and you like F those bills. F this, F that. Forget about it. Yeah, you can just say, forget about the bills. I'm stressed out about the bill. Rent is due. I gotta pay the internet bill, the cable bill, the water bill, the light bill. All of these bills are due, and you're stressed out, and you hit that first puff of weed, and you're like, fuck these bills. Right, Halak, Pimp Chronicles. You're like, man, you're able to check out. You're able to numb yourself, numb your body, numb your mind, and it'll last you for about 2 or 3 hours, and then you'll come back to reality. We don't know what's going on with Marcus Jordan, and he got all the snow bunnies around him and all his friends around him, and he has money, he has affluence, and his father is Michael Jordan, and he's still snorting cocaine. That tells you that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are a cursed people. Because even when you hit the pinnacle of what could be success and you have everything that regular people will want, you still are hurting inside, and you still are trying to find a way to escape from your reality. There was no more on that, right?
Okay.
You can drop that. Let's get so when it comes to the, let me close this tab out. When it comes to, 1 second. So when it comes to what's the next story? What's the other story I had? We'll just get what we're gonna do. We're gonna get into, I'm gonna bring out some archaeology. We're gonna talk about the Native American Indians, the Gadites, okay? So let's get if you could, Ibad, give me a article, real brief, on Chief Joseph. Chief Joseph and him having a cuneiform artifact.
Come on, Crown.
Him having a cuneiform tablet. Okay. And we're going to get into that. We're going to get into the validity that Native American people, many tribes, came from the East. They didn't originate here in North America's the area of what is it? The lower states, like the southern states, the eastern states, the eastern Northwest, Nova Scotia, places like that. Many people will say that, or even Native Indians believe that they originated here in America. And a white man has a word or a term for it called indigenous. Meaning they're indigenous, meaning they basically are the first people here, which indeed is true, but they didn't originate here. So Chief Joseph in his cuneiform tablet. Anybody got any questions or anything? This is more of a class. Like you come into the Wagga Bars class, you are definitely going to be in class. Sometimes it'll be more precepts. Sometimes it'll be more historical knowledge coming out. And let me just say, the water to Captain Gadalhar and, all the captains and generals, the officers and the troopers, Commanding General Yohana and all the generals for allowing me to have this platform, for allowing me to, giving me that platform, whereas I can do what I'm good at and reach God's chosen people.
Right.
Okay. Yo, bear with us. You got something?
Come on. It says in 1887, the respected leader of the Nez Perce tribe surrendered. Surrender to the U.S. government. At his surrender, Chief Thunder Rolling Down the Mountain, known by his Christian name Joseph, presented General Nelson Appleton Miles with a pendant, a 1-inch square clay tablet with writings unrecognizable to General Miles.
Uh-huh.
The writing, which was translated by Dr. Robert D. Biggs, a Syriology professor in the University of Chicago, turned out to be a sales receipt dating back to 2042 BC in Assyria. It read, Nalu received one lamb from Abag Shagal on the
Hold
11th
that.
day.
Just hold that real quick. And let me just recap what the brother just read. This is Chief Joseph. Now, the story is very sketchy because you know the white man likes to paint himself as being a hero in every story. So they saying that Chief Joseph of the Nez Perce Indians that fought in wars with the white man, saying that when he surrendered, he gave them a pendant. Now there is no actual evidence that he surrendered and gave them anything, but there is evidence that he did have in his possession a cuneiform clay tablet. And this clay tablet dated to where? Ibad Yala?
Come on, Con. 2042 BC.
2042 BC, before Christ. 2,000 years before Christ. Okay. This native Indian chief had in his possession a cuneiform tablet dating from 24 BC for the sale of a lamb, not from America. But if you know what cuneiform is the language of the ancient Sumerians, of the Babylonians, of Ur of the Chaldees, from the Middle East. Okay. Keep reading.
Come on, Con. It read, Nala received one lamb from Abag Shagal on the 11th day of the
Mm-hmm.
month of the festival of An, in the year Amagalana Slaki was installed as high priestess of Nana.
Mm-hmm.
Chief Joseph said the tablet had been passed down in his family for many generations.
You can
How
stop
was
right
it?
there.
Come on, Con.
Chief Joseph said that this tablet had been passed down through his family through many generations. The problem with that is that Chief Joseph was in North America, and the cuneiform tablet was an authentic tablet from Ur of the Chaldees. Anybody knows where Ur the Chaldees is? In the chat. Ur of the Chaldees was where the Lord told Abraham to get out of that land. This tablet dates to the time when Abraham lived. Let me say that again. The cuneiform tablet that Chief Joseph had in his possession that was passed down through his family generations for the sale of a lamb, this dates back to the time when Abraham lived in Ur of the Chaldees. Give me Ur of the Chaldees when the Lord tells Abraham to get out of the land. Let me get it. I might get it for you. Give me Genesis 12, verse 1. You dear Abada Yalla, you on mute?
Oh, Salaki, I was muted, Salaki. Yeah, I'm here.
Give me Genesis 12, verse 1.
Come on, Con. The book of Genesis, chapter 12, verse 1. Now the Lord had said unto Abraham, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee. Verse 2. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing.
You can stop that right there. This is the land This cuneiform tablet records people, the people that were in power at the time in Ur of Chaldees at the time of Abraham. I don't know. I don't think y'all understand how heavy that is. It records the time period. I want you to read that again. Read it what it says.
Okay. It read, Nalu received one lamb from Abagshagah on the 11th day of the month of the festival of An.
It's giving you specifics in Ur Chaldees. This is giving you it's breaking down specifics. Somebody bought a lamb on this day during the festival of such. Keep reading.
Okay. In the year in Galana was installed as high priestess of Nana.
It's giving you this time period, and this time period coincides with the same time period that Abraham lived in Ur of the Chaldees. I did a video on Ur of the Chaldees a long time ago in Samaria, meaning they were the first place where you had city states and you had municipalities and you had people that were over certain areas, irrigation systems. I don't know if I showed it on there during that class, but when you look at the images that they have for the traditional home, the home was a home that looked like something of a home today, made out of mud bricks, but still having a stove, having a fireplace, having furniture, and just very sophisticated for the time period where we think it's black and white, it's Stone Age, is this, is that. It was not. They were very sophisticated. They had irrigation systems. They had sewage systems. They were very advanced for the time, and the Most High told Abraham to get out of that country. Okay, is it any? Well, you can drop that, but that's one. Okay, now we're gonna get the Back Creek stone. Find me something for the Back Creek. So BAT CREEK, Back Creek stone.
Kind of. I think I found something.
That's what, you know what? Give me that. Give me what a trooper Nathabalem said. Give me Genesis 15:7. That's a beautiful one.
Come on. The book of Genesis, chapter 15, verse 7. And he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of the out of Ur of the Chaldees, to give thee this land to inherit.
Out of Ur of the Chaldees. See, what the white man don't tell you is all of the archaeology that he goes and tries to dig up. He understands that he doesn't know anything. And the Bible is the only thing, the most complete history book of where to look and what existed in those times. Because many times you cannot find records from the actual people, but there is a record in the biblical record. There is a record of existence from a biblical perspective. And so a lot of these places where they dig up, it's only because of the biblical record. They only were able to find Ur of the Chaldees because of the biblical record. It's not because people remembered or the city was named the same name since ancient times. It's not. And so they're always trying to disprove the validity of the scriptures and of the Bible. But the Bible is the most complete book on all of the nations in their original land that they was given by the Most High.
Right.
Go ahead. What I asked for, you got something for the Back Creek stone?
Okay. It says the Back Creek stone was professionally excavated in 1889 from an undisturbed burial mound in eastern Tennessee by the Smithsonian's Mound Survey Project. Mm-hmm. The director of the project, Cyrus Thomas, initially declared that the curious inscription on the stone were beyond question letters of the Cherokee alphabet. In the 1960s, Henriette Mertz and Corey Ayub both noticed that the inscription, when inverted from Thomas's orientation to that of the above photograph, instead
Uh-huh.
appeared to be ancient Semitic. The late Semitic scholar Cyrus Gordon confirmed that it is Semitic, and
Right.
specifically Paleo-Hebrew of approximately the 1st or 2nd century AD. According to him,
So
the
so this is the Back Creek stone. The Back Creek stone was found in Tennessee. It was found in Cherokee country. Now, what the brother just read is that when they found it, they looked at it like it wasn't anything. They put it in a warehouse in the Smithsonian Museum. And then somebody else came along and took it and picked it up and said they were reading it the wrong way. This is Paleo Hebrew. This is Hebrew from the 1st and 2nd century. Well, now when you're talking about the 1st and 2nd century, you're talking about right after the time of the apostles.
Mm,
You're talking about the time. So I want you to imagine this in your brain. You're talking about there was Hebrew in America, people writing Hebrew in America when the apostles were in Athens, Antioch, Ephesus, Rome, on the other side of the earth.
right.
Where did these people come from? How did they get here in America and they knew Hebrew already? Hmm. That's an interesting dilemma. How did these people did the Jews come to North America during the time of Christ? Or maybe they came after the Assyrian captivity. Is there any more on that?
Come on, there's more.
Go ahead.
It says, according to him, the 5 letters to the left of the comma shaped word, divider read from right to left, Lydhyd for
Mm-hmm.
Judea.
For
He
Judea or for Judah.
right.
Another breakdown for this is that you have different scholars that say that it means something else, but the majority of scholars tell you that it is Semitic and it is saying the Lion of Judah, or it's saying for Judah, or he will gather his people together, right? Because it's written in a Phoenician Hebrew script. And I'm not the sharpest one in the Paleo Hebrew, but what we understand as we look at these brothers and sisters as Native American Indians and that they started here. Well, why are they writing Hebrew? Why do they have Hebrew words that are the same words? Why do they have Native Indian words that are the same words in ancient Hebrew that mean the same thing? You have to ask those questions. Why are they saying that they came from the east? And we're going to get to that. We're going to get to more of that. And why I'm saying they came from the east, let me just shout out. I wish I had the actual book. I do have the book. Well, somebody has my book, but Captain Kataza wrote a book called "They Came from the East," where he breaks it down with historical evidences. And let me just pull this up for y'all. Give a shout out to Captain Kataza. Does it pop up? Let me get it real quick. Y'all just bear with me. Well, I thought he has some on here on Amazon, but I thought it was on Amazon. Um, Captain Katazai wrote a wonderful book called "They Came from the East," where it shows you evidences and history on how the Northern Tribe got over here to America. Okay, so shout out to Captain Katazai, who is a historian like myself, and he's relentless when it comes to the Northern tribes, and he has a whole lecture for the 12 tribe breakdown. He has a whole lecture where he goes into Genesis 49 and where the tribes would be today in today's time. Okay. But that was the Back Creek Stone. Did I leave anything else out on that? I don't think I did.
Uh, oh,
You,
sorry.
you there was some more left that you was reading. You
Come on,
could
there was
drop
still
it.
some more left.
But the brother said that it had been passed down generations. And that's where you go, that's where you it goes back to our heritage and trusting in oral history, what your elders tell you and what their elders told them and what their elders told them, and those things being passed down through your line. Instead of somebody coming in and saying, telling you what you are. You're you're native Indian, you're African American, you're Puerto Rican, Richport, you're mestizo, you're Mexican. You have somebody telling you who you are, where you have elders that are still alive that can tell you the stories that their elders told them. You know what I'm saying? So give me the Ohio decathlon stone.
Come on.
Just giving you some. This is light work. This is some stuff that's right here in America that shows you that Indians were writing in Hebrew. The One of the tribes, the Mimac tribe, that is actually in the eastern northern woods, the Mimac. In their language, they have Hebrew and they have Egyptian loan words. How does that happen? How do they have Semitic and Egyptian or Hamitic loan words in their language? There is no other way, no other plausible way for that to happen other than they came from the East. They came from that area. Okay, go ahead.
So, like you said, the Ohio what?
Decathlon stone, or give me or you can get type in Newark, like Newark, New Jersey, Newark holy stones.
Newark Holy Stones.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
These are found in Ohio.
I got them.
Okay, let me hear it.
Okay. It says the Newark Holy Stones refer to a set of artifacts allegedly discovered by David Wyrick in 1860 within a cluster of
Uh-huh.
ancient Indian burial mounds near Newark, Ohio. The set of the set consists of the keystone, a stone bowl, and a decalogue, a decalogue with
The
its
catalog, the
so like
catalog.
the catalog with its sandstone box. The
Mm-hmm.
site where the objects were found is known as the Newark Earthworks, one of the biggest collections from an ancient American Indian culture known as the Hopewell that existed from approximately 100 BC to AD 500. The Newark Holy Stones continue to draw many visitors to the Johnson Humrick House Museum. One of the largest interest groups is composed of members of the Church of the Latter-day Saints. The Book of Mormon states that the 10 lost tribes of Israel relocated to North America to live with Native Americans. The existence of the Newark Holy Stone seems to give credence to their views. Another significant interest group follows a para archaeological movement whose premise is that pre-Columbian transoceanic travel occurred hundreds of years earlier than what historians and archaeologists accept as true. Slovakia, the leaders
Well,
of
you
this
can
movement.
drop that.
Yeah, come on.
So it's going into some other stuff, but the point is that it doesn't. I don't think that actually talked about what's on here. So what you're looking at on your left, you're looking at this stone that has a rendition of the 10 Commandments in Hebrew. So you see the stone with the man, and you see it encapsulates, it closes, it's a top and a bottom. But what it is a rendition in Hebrew of the 10 Commandments. And now these stones that were found, they date to 100 BC, meaning before Christ, to 500 AD. Once again, the question is, how is it that you have Hebrew and you have these people writing in Hebrew at the same time or before the time of Christ in Jerusalem? Where did these people come from? Let's get second Esdras in, what is it, 13 and 40?
Oh, okay. You said 13 and 7, right, sir?
13 and 40.
Oh, okay. So the book of Second Ezra, chapter 13, verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the line of Osea the king, whom Salmanassar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. Verse 41. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
So these people that was carried away by Salmanassar, you can find that in what, Second Kings chapter 17, where the king of Assyria found conspiracy in the king of Israel, because the king of Israel was talking to the king of Egypt, and the king of Assyria came and deported all of the northern kingdom. Not all of them, but he deported the majority of them out of the land of Israel, out of Samaria, and took them to his land. And then he put his people into Israel, which y'all remember, where down the line, hundreds of years later, when Christ is born, you still have these people living in the land of Israel. That's the woman at the well, that when Christ told her, we know what we worship, you know not what you worship, for salvation is of the Jews. He said it's going to come a time where you nor your father is going to worship in this mountain. So he carried them out of this land, right? And after that, they said, you know what? Once they were free from that captivity, they said, you know what? We're going to go to a land where no man has ever dwelt. Now I'm going to pull up a video. Give me 1 second. Pull up this video real quick.
I didn't really understand.
Let me just.
And I didn't really understand, but I came to know how true that was. When Christ would leave, and he appeared to other tribes, and then he would come again, and he would bless them again. And so it was an incredible experience, that as I was at the feet of my grandfather and these 12 men how they expounded upon the oral histories that they knew, that I knew, that meant everything to them. And it was their foundation, and they wanted to be sure to carry it on. And few Dene people know these things. And the argument is always, well, you know, the white people brought us Christianity. It is not, well, they brought it later. But we as Native Americans and my people as a Dene people, they walked and talked with Christ long before the pilgrims came. They knew him, and he walked around among them. When you think about the drawing on, that these men had, and then think about what my grandfather and the 12 men spoke about, and they, you know, my grandfather said that they built a ship and they came across the great waters, and it was tumultuous, and they came here to this land. They were in the east, and there was millions, eventually, of millions and millions of Native Americans.
Did you hear what she said? She was told as a child from her grandfather that the ancestors made a giant boat and they came through a tumultuous ocean to this land, to North America, and they came from the east. These are the oral stories in Native Indian tribes, and she's Dene Navajo. These are the stories in Native Indian tribes that people don't hear, they don't know. That the original story, not only with Native Indians, but even the Mayans, the Aztecs, is that they didn't originate here. They call themselves the people of the sun in Mexico, the Mayans and all of that, right? Because they come from where the sun sets. They came from the direction, they came from the east. And right here, she's telling you, we came from the east. Her grandfather told her they came from the east. Her name is Navajo Granny. You can go look her up. She says in that same video that they were out at the Pueblo Bonita ruins doing excavations, and the men were having lunch. 12 men sitting around in a circle having lunch, but they were drawing. And a woman comes up, I believe it was a white woman. She comes up that she could speak their language. She says, "What are you guys doing?" And they said they're drawing. And when she looks at the drawings, they're drawing elephants. They're drawing animals that are not from America, and they're drawing Jerusalem. And she doesn't understand it because she says, "You've never been there. How do you know what it looks like?" And they tell her this is what has been passed down from their ancestors. So even in the Native Indian oral story, many tribes, they come from the east. They believe that they are God's chosen people also. Okay. So that's even more to go with the precept that we are actually reading. Let me hear that again.
Come on, Khan. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. Verse 41.
They came into another land. Go ahead.
Come on. But they took this counsel among themselves that
They took the counsel among themselves. Go ahead.
That they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwell. Verse 42, that they might there keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land.
Now they thought that they would go to another land and they would keep the law, statute, and commandments that they didn't even keep in their own land. They didn't keep in Israel, in Jerusalem. They didn't keep it. And that's why they were taken away into another land. So now they're far from home in Assyria, and they say, we're going to go to a faraway land And so we're gonna make this counsel among ourselves that we're gonna keep the law, statute, commandments in that other land. Go ahead.
Come on. Verse 43. And they
Mhm.
entered into Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river.
The Euphrates. Mhm.
Salaki. Into Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river. Verse 44. For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. Verse 45. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half.
It
And the
took them
same-
it took them a year and a half to go through the country. Go ahead.
Kanokan. And a half, and the same region is called Arsareth.
It's called Arsareth, which is today you know as North and South America. You know, that's what you know it today as, but this was the land where no man dwelt. This was the land where they were the first inhabitants to inhabit this land, and they had a clean slate to keep the law, statute, and commandments. But we know that they did not, and we know that because of history. We know what the Mayans were doing. We know what the Aztecs were doing. We know how the native Indians were hating one another and fighting within tribes with one another. All of those things happen because they did not keep the law, statute, and commandments. And then after that, the worst thing that could have happened was the oppressor came and conquered them. Spanish conquistadors came to South America. The Spanish conquistadors came to South America and the South. You could say the South in the west coast of southwest of America, and the English Europeans came to the east and conquered the native Indians through that. So this is just a record in the history from a biblical perspective and from the mouth of Indians, what they say. And there's plenty more. There's plenty more that I could have brought out tonight, but there's just so much information, and people tend to neglect it and look at it like this can't be possible. It can't be possible that native Indians are God's chosen people. It can't, like, you have a lot of fake Israelites that say God's chosen people are only black people. Like, they can only be black. Like, if you have a different shade or different tone of brown, you cannot be black people. That's no different than the blackity black groups that say, if you're not all the way dark skinned, you're not black. Like, they say, I'm not black, Captain Zaryak not black. Anybody that's light skinned, they'll say you're not black, because they say, well, you got to be 100% dark skinned, which is silly, because the Lord, or should I say just in nature, when you look at black people naturally, and you look at native Indian people naturally, you come in different shades of brown. So you can be very dark skinned, or you could be light skinned. Two dark skinned people can produce a light skinned child. So that is crazy that, you know, that's an argument towards native Indians not being able to be considered God's chosen people, because some of them are light skinned. But truth be told, a lot of niggas walking around that's dark skinned quite possibly are native Indians. You just don't know. You think you're a nigga because that's what you was told. That's how you grew up, and that's the society we live in, where they separated native the lighter skinned tribes from the. If you was dark, the white man would say that you're a Negro. If you was light, you was considered native Indian, and that line of separation still goes on today within the groups within native Indians. You have native Indians that try to push out darker skinned native Indians out of the, you know, the thing where you can get benefits and you can get land and you're entitled to those rights that everyone in the reservation is entitled to, right? There's nothing more on that, right? There's a video I'm gonna send you. Okay, I already sent it to you. It's about the migrant crisis. It's about I believe it's about Ukraine. Is it about Ukrainians or people from Afghanistan? It might be about Ukrainians, reason why I want to talk about this is because you see this going on in the political sphere, where right now you have the we talked about this. Didn't we talk about Democrats and Republicans last week?
Come on.
So I talked about Democrats being the left, Republicans being the right, and you have some places where they disagree, but some places where they agree on certain issues. Well, one of the things they started doing, the Republicans is doing as an attack, is to say that to black people that are voting for Kamala Harris, they're aiming this at them, this rhetoric. They're saying, since you vote for Kamala Harris, she stands for allowing these immigrants to come into Chicago, New York. They're taking all the resources. They're getting public assistance. They're getting the things that you black people deserve. That's what that's how they come. That's how they're pushing it. Saying if you voting for Kamala Harris, you're voting against your own demise. And see, this is what your oppressor does. He tries to pit black and brown against one another to make us hate one another. And so I wanted to show the numbers. I wanted to show some numbers to show that why is it that everybody is worried about Mexicans getting anything or benefits or being refugees and coming over here and getting an apartment or getting anything, when you have the Ukrainians that were here, that came from Ukraine, and they were set up in Airbnbs and given things. You have the Afghanis that came over. Y'all remember those videos that came out with the Afghanis holding on to the airplane when it's flying, falling off? They wanted to get out of their country, but they over here too. You don't hear a peep from anybody complaining about them. You got it?
So like you didn't send me that article.
I didn't send it to you. Let me see. Give me 1 second. I thought I sent it to you. That's crazy. Bro, what is this? You're right. I didn't send it to you, but I'm going to get it. Y'all just bear with me. All right. I'm about to send it to you right now. Wait. I was about to send it to the group chat. You should have it right now.
Come on, I got it.
All right. Let me hear that. Okay, the sister said they had those Afghanistans deep in Houston. Oh, really? You never know. You never know if they did or not. You never know if they, But I do know they was hooking them up with Airbnbs. They had white Americans taking them in, and if you take some refugees in, you get paid. You can get paid, kind of like the foster care system. I don't know if that's a good comparison, but that's how the deal was. Like, if you can apply for funds depending on how many people you're housing, and the funds is in the thousands of dollars, and they're not going to be taking any Issacharites in, any Mexicans in, but they'll take the Ukrainians in and the Afghanis in. Go ahead.
Come on, Kyle. It says Congress restores access to benefits for thousands of Ukrainians. The United States Committee for Refugees and Immigrants, UCSRI, applauds Congress for its vote authorizing Ukrainians who are now arriving in the United States to receive resettlement support and other assistance.
Resettlement support. Go ahead. And other assistance. Go ahead.
Okay. As part of a $95 billion supplemental package signed
A
by
what?
President.
A what?
A $95 billion supplemental package.
A $95 billion supplemental package. $95 billion for Ukrainians. I'm hearing crickets. I don't hear nobody talking about the Ukrainians. We're the people that's talking about Ukrainians. Where are they at? Talking about all the resources they're getting and the money they're taking from Black people. But they want to use your brothers and sisters against you against them, and them against you, and say, look at them. They're coming and getting all of your resources. They're getting the jobs that you would have want. Nigga, like I say it all the time, nigga, please. What job, Salaki? Let me pull this real quick. Let me pull this. Let me just present this video. I think I still got it here. I think I still have it on file. What job is, I'm gonna pull it up. Hold on.
Hello everyone. Today we will continue.
Now, what job are they willing to do that they're taking from you, Black people? Let's keep this 1,000. How many Black people you know, how many people in your family you know that's going to stand out there in the hot sun and do this? That's going to work the fields. That's willing to work the fields like this. Crickets. They telling Black people that these migrants that come over here, that they set them up, they'll take your jobs. They're getting the money that's supposed to go to you. Let me tell you something. Let me keep it 1,000 with you. Mexicans are the hardest working people on the planet Earth. And Black people, number 2. The Bible says that this is in their spirit to be hard workers. It's in their spirit to be hard workers. Black people can be hard workers too, but you ain't gonna hold a torch to no Mexican brothers, because when they team up, they know how to work together. Niggas don't know how to work together. Niggas get attitudes and want to be the boss and be the, as an individual, Black people can work good, but when you get us all together, we not working good like Issacharites can work. They can work good and work as a team, taking that, do all of those things. But if they're supposed to be getting the money, if they're getting the money that we're supposed to get, Black people have been asking for reparations for 400 years. But you got $95,000 and $95 billion to cut a check for Ukrainians? Your oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
Right.
You understand? That's what that is. Look what the sister put. The Ukrainians receive free rent for 2 years in luxury apartments in Marina del Rey. They also receive Teslas and Social Security. My friend worked in the league. Oh my goodness. But you don't hear a peep about that. Why? Because that's their ancestors. That's their ancestors. They are living good. Like they're okay. Like it's like this. It's the same dynamic. Give me the precept where you talk every man cleave unto his like. I'm gonna show you this dynamic that is a real dynamic in the world that people that they really resist in America, because America is all about the big melting pot and diversity and everybody coming together as one, and it's really not like that. If you could, you get that for me. We got about 2 more precepts and we'll be up out of here.
Okay. In it right now. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 13, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
All flesh consorteth according to his kind, and
Mm-hmm.
a man will cleave to his like.
It says all flesh consorteth to its kind. It's a natural thing. I was just having this discussion with a sister at my job. She's a security guard, and we had a discussion about, we were talking about politics, but we got into, I don't know how we got into it, about talking about loving your people, and it's okay. But we got into that conversation of loving your people, or preferring your people, or, you know, I think it was interracial unions and stuff. And it's okay to love your people. Not only that it's okay, it's a natural instinct that's built inside of you. It's natural for you to move in an area where it's people that look like you. It's natural for you at school to congregate in an area where there's people that look like you. In this world, or in America, they say it's unnatural, and they try to force something called diversity on Black people. It's in the workplace, it's in school, it's in everywhere. They try to push it, but it's not really diverse as you think. You go to the top of these colleges, the top of these businesses and corporations, and even at the top of America, it's predominantly all white people in there, in that room. But the point is that when people see their people, they have a certain level of compassion and understanding, more than they would have on somebody that is not them. So the United States government, the media, the politicians, they don't have the compassion on Mexicans, on El Salvadorians, on Puerto Ricans, on Cubans, on Black people that they would have on Ukrainians. Ukrainians look like them, have pale skin like them, blue eyes like them, cry tears like them. So they're trying to cut checks, change laws, and push everything they can push to help the Ukrainians. And meanwhile, they're trying in a political area, they're trying to say, look, Black people, you voted for these Democrats. This is what they stand for. They got these immigrants coming in here taking all of your money. Nigga, you got all of your family members taking all of our money. Black people been asking for their reparations for 400 years. So what are we talking about here? That is the game that the devil is running on you. That's the game that the devil is playing on you.
Right.
That's the game that he's pitting you against one another. And now all your energy is on these. I've heard so many Black people say these migrants in New York and in Chicago. I've never heard a Black person say anything or express any hate or feel any type of way about the Ukrainians. The sister just taught me. I didn't know that was going on. I didn't know they was getting it like that. There was a story that came out where somebody was standing behind a migrant woman, El Salvadorian woman, and she left her receipt. And on her receipt, it said $4,000 on EBT. And it became a big story because everybody's pissed off. Like, oh, y'all giving them all of that? What about Black people? But nobody's saying about the Airbnbs and the Teslas and everything they giving to these Ukrainians. These Ukrainians living up in a neighborhood that you wish you could live in. I'm in the hood. I'm in the hood. Right around the corner is the hills, and there's a new neighborhood where I'm like, damn, I can dream that one day I can get up in there. I promise you, it's probably some Ukrainians living up there. Now that I know this, it's probably some Ukrainians living up in there, walking outside barefooted, just living the life, walking their kids, strolling, jogging, living the life. I don't know. But every people love their own people. It's the same dynamic when we're angry about a cop killing Sandra Macy. He didn't see somebody's mother there. He didn't see a woman that looked like she could potentially be his mother or his neighbor. He seen a black person. Now, if she looked like him, Sandra Macy or Karen Goldberg would be alive today. But she don't look like him. There's something inside intuitively of every people to love your race, to look out for your race, to try to, extend the arm and try to be the best human being towards your people and express compassion to them also. That's not the case when it comes to God's chosen people. So we have to have the mindset, we have to understand, and that's why it's so important to understand who you are in this world. What is your true purpose? What did the Lord create you for? Did he create you just to be at the bottom and be hated and hate your other brown people? Or did he create you to be the greatest people on the planet Earth? You have a lot of brothers and sisters. Well, you have a lot of, my mistake. You have a lot of nations that claim to be the children of God, that actually claim to be the children of God. And you have, it's like those reality shows or those shows we grew up with, the Maury's and the other shows where you have somebody there for a paternity test. Somebody is saying, he is my father, and he has never been in my life. I want to get this paternity test because I don't know if I'm the father. There was another guy in the picture. There was somebody else in the picture. I don't know. And so there's a lot of confusion. And so there's been a lot of confusion throughout the centuries, even up until this time, of who the Most High is truly the father of. And I think the ISUPK, I think this truth, Commander General Hana and all the generals and the high priests before the generals and the brothers in 1969 who the Lord decided to give this truth. So now we know that the Most High is the father of Blacks and Hispanics.
That's right.
And for all of those other nations that claim that they are God's chosen people and that God is with them, he is not the father.
Right.
You understand? He is not the father, but he is the father of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. With that, that's the class. All right. Let's clap it up. Listen, thank y'all for rocking with me on Priest and Officer Walker Bar. We'll be back next Wednesday. Hopefully, we'll be back in the building and we'll have it rocking and rolling as usual. It's nothing wrong with this setup. I think this setup is pretty dope. The green screen thing, I think is pretty dope. What y'all think? I think it's pretty dope. I can change it up how I want to change it up. But it's nothing like being on that podium and in a place that we worked so hard for to get. Remember,
Right.
we started out in the library. We started out in the library, and first of all, we didn't start off in the library. Started off in Captain Gadalhar's bedroom making videos, okay? And then we went to the library. Then we went some other place. Then we got our own building, and it's a beautiful thing. There's an issue that's going on with our service provider as far as the internet. We'll get that fixed. We'll get that handled. But this truth must go out. The word must go out, and we will stay relentless on pushing this truth that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are God chosen people until the sun burn out.
That's right.
With that, the water for all y'all for rocking with me. I'll see y'all next Wednesday. Shalom, Lord in Christ.
Shalom in Christ.